Hello, this is Michael Paul with New Orleans Scottish Rite College. Not long ago, I was asked if I could do a video describing the various caps that are used in the Southern Jurisdiction Scottish Rite Valleys. The brother said that he was new to the Scottish Rite and wanted to know a little about why they were different colors. The colors of the caps do mean something. Let's look at them. In the Southern Jurisdiction, a black cap is the cap of a 32nd degree Scottish Rite Mason. Any 32nd is entitled to wear one. Sometimes these caps are given to 32nds for services rendered to the Valley. Other times, they are made available for sale by the Valley. For details on how to obtain such a cap, ask your Valley Secretary. I should mention that many online Masonic supply stores also have these caps available for order. A Valley operates by the hard work of many volunteers who provide help with everything including degree work, lighting, sound, wardrobe, kitchen help, cleaning, and building maintenance, just to name a few jobs. About 1993, an organization was created in the Orient of Oklahoma, which called itself the Knights of St. Andrew. It started out as a group of 32nds who helped with aspects of the Scottish Rite degree conferrals, or reunions. Soon they organized themselves and became an example of hard-working brothers with the goal of helping valleys in any way possible. Chapters began popping up all over the Southern Jurisdiction and some in the Northern Masonic Jurisdiction. You will find them doing most any task necessary in a valley. Today, the Knights of St. Andrew have their own regalia, including a distinctive cap that can be worn with a member's regular clothing or the Knights of St. Andrew uniform. For details on this most worthy organization, contact your Valley Secretary. Every 2 years, on odd years, your Valley will send recommendations to your SGIG, who will then review the recommendations and then, unless he edits them, send them to the Supreme Council. These recommendations will be for what's known as honors. One honor, and honestly I don't care for that word, I believe responsibility is better, but one honor for a 32nd is commonly known as the KCCH, or Knight Commander Code of Honor. One who receives the investiture of KCCH is entitled to wear a unique red cap. This cap does not mean that the wearer has received any additional degrees, but that he is being recognized for his service to the Scottish Rite or Masonry in general. This investiture is often a prerequisite, but not a guarantee, of receiving the 33rd degree. Those with 50 years of service in the Scottish Rite are entitled to wear a blue cap. This cap shows their years of service and can sometimes even be given to those with 60 years of membership. Usually a valley will accompany such a cap with a certificate of service and a ceremony. At the same time that a valley sends its recommendations for the KCCH investitures, it will send a smaller number of recommendations for the ones they wish to receive the 33rd degree. As with the KCCH investitures, the recommendations for the 33rd degree should be made based on service to the Scottish Rite or Masonry as a whole. Also, as with the KCCH, the SGIG has the right to accept, add, or subtract from any suggestions that a valley makes. The final decision of which names are to be sent to the Supreme Council or his. Once they are received by the Supreme Council, the names are then put to a vote. The 33rd degree is the highest degree that a Scottish Rite Mason can receive. In the Southern Jurisdiction, you will normally find 33rd degree Masons wearing a white cap with a gold braid. The cross of the 33rd is the Patriarchal Cross or the Cross of Lorraine. Like the double-headed eagle of the Scottish Rite, there is debate in some circles on the actual cross and its symbolic meaning. There is something else that I hear every now and then, and sometimes I hear it from those who have received the 33rd degree. I sometimes hear that the 33rd degree is an honorary degree. Well, that's just wrong, period. I've done a number of videos on this. Any 33rd in your valley, often called a white cap, is as much a 33rd degree Mason as any active member of a Supreme Council. The difference is their job. They are not active voting members of the Supreme Council. A white cap is an honorary Sovereign Grand Inspector General, or SGIG. They do not have a vote in the Supreme Council. In the early days of the Scottish Rite, if someone received the 33rd degree, They also, at the same time, became an active voting member of the Supreme Council. This changed in the Southern jurisdiction just before the time of Albert Pike. Pike was, in fact, one of the first 32nds to receive the 33rd degree without becoming an active member of the Supreme Council. Of course, before long, he did become an active member and then Grand Commander. Every now and then you will see a 33rd wearing a white cap with a blue band around it. This is the Honor Investiture Grand Cross of the Court of Honor, or simply Grand Cross. It is an honor investiture, the highest in the Scottish Rite, for those who have received the 33rd degree. We can look at the KCCH and Grand Cross as something of companion investitures for the 32nd and 33rd. In early New Orleans Scottish Rite, there was a ceremony known as the Fiery Heart. It was an honor investiture for 32nds or 33rds. We have records of Albert Pike seeing this ceremony and taking it with him to Washington, D.C. I believe that this old ceremony inspired Pike to create one such investiture for 32nds and one for 33rds. Of course, this is only my opinion. The cap of a deputy of the Supreme Council is white with a red band. A deputy supervises an Orient, but is not an SGIG, meaning a voting member of the Supreme Council. He is normally selected from the white caps in an Orient. The cap of an SGIG is normally, depending on the manufacturer, dark purple with gold braiding. An SGIG is an elected and voting active member of a Supreme Council. In the Southern jurisdiction, there are 33 active members, or SGIGs. They vote on and make the decisions of the Supreme Council, subject to its rules and regulations. The cap of a Southern jurisdiction Sovereign Grand Commander is light purple with gold braiding and a band darker than the cap. The Grand Commander is the presiding or executive officer of the Supreme Council. The Grand Commander is elected from the rolls of the Sovereign Grand Inspectors General. Now I'd like to take a closer look at the various caps and try to examine them just a bit. Let's start with the caps of the two honor investitures, the KCCH and Grand Cross. I'm going to take a look at these caps in what may seem to be an unconventional way. To start with, the KCCH investiture is for 32nds and the Grand Cross is for 33rds. But the double-headed eagle of the 32nd and the patriarchal cross of the 33rd are not front and center on these caps. If we look at the KCCH insignia, we find a cross that is reminiscent of the Rose-Croix cross, sometimes said to be used by Rosicrucian adepts. But instead of the rose being present in this insignia, we find the rose right at the heart of the Grand Cross insignia. Interesting. The Grand Cross cap displays the Teutonic cross of the 30th degree with some modifications. Both designs are clearly Scottish Rite and designed to show rank and highly symbolic. In fact, I would say that both are worthy of serious reflection and study as to possible symbolic meanings. Now let's have a look at two 33rd degree caps. One is the traditional white cap of a 33rd, and the second is the cap of a deputy of the Supreme Council. Both have the traditional Cross of Lorraine or patriarchal cross in red with gold borders. The deputy's cap has a band of red, signifying his rank. What's important to note is that both of them are 33rd degree Scottish Rite Masons who are honorary Sovereign Grand Inspector Generals. The deputy is the supervisor of an Orient and has additional rank and authority, but he is still an honorary SGIG. Now we come to the caps of active members of the Supreme Council, SGIGs and the Sovereign Grand Commander. Both are purple and highly decorated. The SGIG cap uses an augmented patriarchal cross. The Grand Commander's cross, however, is known as the Cross of Salem, or a pontifical cross. While it is also augmented, it exhibits the 3 crossbars rather than the 2 of the patriarchal cross. The first and third bars are of equal length, while the middle one is longer. A lengthy discussion could be held on the reason for these various crosses, but this does not seem to be the place. I will again say that this symbol is worthy of close examination and should not be quickly studied or explained. This has been but just a short examination of the caps of the Southern jurisdiction, but I hope that it has been of some help. I do advise closer examination and discussions of these caps in your valleys. I believe that such private discussions can be of great value. Of course, not all Scottish Rite jurisdictions use caps. Some jurisdictions use sashes or collars or both to designate rank. Some jurisdictions wear different colors of caps for various offices in a valley. Talk with your valley secretary or whoever is in charge of your education committee. Ask questions. It's your Scottish Rite. Thank you for watching. If you like the videos, please hit the like button and subscribe to us. See you next time.